What's the real estate market like in Colorado Springs? I heard it was slowing down. I heard it was speeding up, actually. I don't know what's going on. I do, and I'm going to tell you about it here in this video. So, in our Pikes Peak multiple listing service, we have 1,287 properties for sale in the Colorado Springs areas where majority of these homes, most of these homes are listed. So if we zoom in, I've selected Colorado Springs specifically within the city limits of Colorado Springs, and you'll get some similar. If you zoom out here, you get some in Black Forest. You're getting down into Fountain and Security Widefield, um, east into the little bit into the Falcon area as well. And then once you zoom in a bit further, you can see the individual dot points of properties for sale. So 1,287 for sale right now in the city. And let's take a look at how many are under contract. 1,061. Okay. And that's pretty on par with what we have had within the past several months, 6 months, 8 months, even more, almost a year now of fairly low inventory. I'm going to show you one of the most fascinating charts to me of data for real estate. And the two pieces of information that we're looking at is the months of inventory, and the second one is the number of sales. So for June of 2023, we were at 2.2 months worth of inventory for Colorado Springs. You need 4 to 6 months to have a balanced market. We had 1,400 homes or 1,400 sales, property sales for June. And if you look back at this historically, you'll see that this is relatively low. Summer of last year is when we had a little bit more inventory, 2 to 3 months worth of inventory. Wintertime, springtime of 2022, we had a little over a month's worth. So let's switch over to chart form. The green is the months of inventory. We're looking at January 2022 all the way up to the present or to the end of June. Blue is the number of sales per month. So you can see January, you had a little over 2 months worth of inventory, and that started to climb as you went into the summer months up into 3.5, 3.8-ish months, almost 4 months worth of inventory at the height of summertime last year. And then that started to dip back down all the way to its low point this January, where we had about a little over 1.5 months worth of inventory. That's now come back up for the summertime, and I'm anticipating seeing another slowdown for the rest of the year. The inventory was also low for beginning of January 2022, and that's what started to climb up as we got into the second half of 2022 and all the way into the beginning of 2023. Inventory came up, and that drove down prices a bit. And the number of sales went down, interestingly, even though the inventory went up. So days on market increased for properties at that point. And again, home prices took a little bit of a dip then and have come back up. And I'm anticipating prices take another winter dip. But as far as if we have a big housing crash, I don't know if that's going to be the case. This one is the average and median days on market. So this again from January 2022 up to the present. And so right now we're at 26 days on market average, and 8 days on the median. So these are the hard numbers here if you want to pause that. But otherwise I'm going to come back to this chart because you can still see a lot of these numbers here, where the average days on market this early spring was up in the 50s, 50-ish days on market, and we're now down to 26. And then compare that to January 2022 all the way through July 2022, where it was like 14 to 19 days on market. So stuff was moving pretty quick in that time period. This one's also an interesting chart, list price to close price ratio. So what properties are selling for versus what they're listing for on average. So for the month of June, we're at 100%. Properties are on average getting what they're listed at. And that wasn't necessarily the case before in the later months, in the winter and spring, fall time of last year. So August through March, we had 99 to 96% of asking price, depending on the month. And then compare that to summertime of last year, where you were up to 102, 103% on average. So it was a much hotter market at that point. Active listings was also fairly higher from April all the way through, mm, let's see, October, November time. You still had a good number of active listings, 3,800 a month at that point, and then we came down to 2,500 in this February, and now we're up to 3,100 for the month of June. And this is the average and median sales price for homes, again from January 2022 on. And I'm just looking at June, where we ended the average sales price at $540,683. Median sales price $471,278. Now, if you want to compare, I mean, that's our high point for this year. And if you want to compare that to last year's high point, where home prices were the highest they've ever been, at least here in Colorado Springs, April 2022 was our high point, where the average sales price was $542,438, and the median sales price was $475,000. So we are almost at that exact same point. We're basically at that exact same point, but we reached it in June instead of April this year. So I'm assuming from here on out we are going to trend downward a little bit in prices and average and median prices for the city, just overall for the fall and winter months, because we do that. It is cyclical, and we're going to do that again. I'm pulling data all the way back from 2014. So you'll see like the Januaries here is where you got those little low points. Green is average sales price, blue is median. And you'll see, yeah, just every winter time period, you just come down a little bit, dunk, 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 and then you come up for the summer months. So we're doing that again here. January, 2022, summertime, we come up. January, we take a bigger dip than we normally do. So we're just seeing a bigger up and a bigger downswing than we normally would seasonally here. I would describe this market as a low inventory market continued, but also a low number of buyers kind of market, because a lot of buyers have gotten pushed out with increasing home prices here, but then also increasing interest rates. The low inventory means that a lot of buyers have a harder time finding what they're looking for, and then the low number of buyers means that sellers sometimes have a problem selling their house. And usually not, as you saw from the data, it's pretty quick. It's within a week to 3 weeks for homes to sell here. So for homes that are sitting on the market longer, sometimes there's some other issue that needs to be addressed. Sometimes the home is just overpriced for this particular, priced higher than it should be for this particular market. Most properties are getting about 3 showings, a little bit more per week. That's been fairly consistent for a good long while. So if you're getting more, that's a really good sign for your property. July has had 23 property sales so far. We're only 5 days into the month. June, we had 1,418 property sales. And while that's low, consider June 2022, where we had 1,882 property sales for that month. So we only had 400 more. That was a good amount more. If you want to compare that to June of 2021, we had 2,132 sales that month. So compare that to this June's 14, 18. That's a lot less. Even go back to June 2020, where we had 2022 property sales for that month. So just on a year-to-year basis, this is a lower inventory housing market. And I don't know about anywhere else, but here in Colorado Springs, it's just people got really good rates when they were in the twos and threes, and anybody who could afford to buy did. First-time home buyers got their property. People looking to buy a second property or an investment property or a snowbird property, they did that for sure when they had that opportunity. And it was cheap. It was cheap money. It was almost free money. So now, with interest rates being what they are, people are starting to accept that this is the new normal as far as interest rates go. It's unlikely for rates to go back down from where they are now, but there is that potential that it could happen. And if it does, hey, you can refinance. The real estate market is still alive and well here in Colorado Springs. If you have any questions about it, leave me a comment below. And if you need to buy or sell any property here in the Colorado Springs area, reach out to me. My name is Kevin James Bond with RE/MAX Real Estate Group here in Colorado Springs, and I'd love to help you out with that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.